Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I am Geneva Rose. Here on my channel, you can find all things related to dance, music, self-love, spirituality, book reviews, show reviews, all that good stuff and everything in between. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So in today's video, I'm just going to be doing a little review, a little share, a little gossip, a little chit chat about Magnolia Parks. This book by Jessa Hastings. Let me tell you, this book, it took me into its orbit. It took me into its universe. I was not the same after reading this book. And I will just start off by saying, like, I know these books are not for everyone because it's a little toxic. It's a little toxic. But I absolutely am not ashamed of how much I love Magnolia and BJ. One of the reasons that I just love BJ so much is just because of the way that he talks about Magnolia. Like, the way that he talks about her is just like so beautiful. And like, I don't care if you think they're toxic. You cannot deny the way that they talk about each other. The way the author creates such a distinct individual dialogue for each character is just like so amazing. I feel like that really gives you such a connection to the characters because of the way the author writes them. I think that's why for me personally, I was able to grow such a deep love and like fondness for BJ and Magnolia despite their toxicity and immaturity, which, can we just talk about how annoying they are, especially when you get to the second book, like the third book technically, but like the second like Magnolia book, because it's just like, I just felt like it was just dragging on. I was just like, when are y'all just going to be able to communicate your feelings? Like, it's not that serious. Like, one person does something, then they react, then the other person reacts, then the next person reacts. It's like this never-ending cycle of just reacting to things instead of like dealing with things or just being honest and vulnerable about the way each of them feel and like their fears and their feelings. And I feel like that's what made like the drama and the toxicity between them just drag on and drag on and drag on, because you're literally just watching two people literally refuse to communicate their own feelings, literally refusing to wave the white flag, refusing to just be vulnerable, refusing to put themselves out there, refusing to face their fears. And it just becomes this never-ending cycle, which, I mean, it does end, but you know, when you're reading it, like when I was reading book 3, I was just like, okay, is it over? Is it over? And I read that book so quickly because I just wanted to get to like, okay, when are they going to get together? When are they finally just going to admit how they feel, admit that they're afraid, admit that they don't really trust each other, but that the love that they have for one another is more powerful than any fears or mistrusts or trauma or things that they've been through. I'm like, when are you guys just going to admit that you love each other? You love each other like you've never loved anything and anyone ever before in your life. And that's what is like the foundation of them, is like the love that they have for one another. And that is just what sucks me in over and over and over again when I'm reading these books. I can't speak for all women, but I think a lot of women, we want like, you know, take away the toxicity. I know, don't get me. When you take out like the toxicity and you just think about the love, like you want your partner to literally be infatuated and fascinated and like just so in awe of you. Like the way that he speaks about her through every room that she's in, every time she comes in, every time she's around, no matter what she's wearing, what she's doing, he's just in awe of her because he's just like so in love with her. And she is like the same way for him, and everybody wants that. Like, don't lie to yourself. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that feeling of like just being so infatuated and so in love on an emotional, spiritual, physical level. And a lot of the stuff that they have faced is simply because they don't know how to face their own BS and their own trauma and their own immaturity on an individual level, and that just manifests in the relationship and just makes problem after problem after problem. Like all the people you could have hooked up with, you had to hook up with her best friend. And for one, too, of course it's wrong on his part, because like your man, your partner, whoever, they should never cross those boundaries with you at all, but like cheat on you regardless. But your best friend's like a whole nother low. But then for your best friend to be like a willing participant in that was crazy. Something that I really loved about the book that I haven't really read in that many books or really seen ever before is the fashion. Can we just... This author She did her thing. And I listened to a podcast that she was on, which I'll kind of get into more as the video progresses, like things that she said in the podcast. But she talks about like how she tries to wait as long as possible to put in like the fashion for the book, because like things like in fashion, you know, things in trends like go out of style or come in style so quickly. So she always wants to make sure like the fashion that she's talking about and writing about is very current. And I thought that was really cool, because it is really current and it was really cool. And as I started to read more and more, I'm imagining what the outfits are looking like as I'm reading it, but I'm also like, I need to see some of these things. So I started like Googling like every outfit, and then I found that there is an Instagram dedicated to all of the outfits of the books. And I'm just like, that's amazing. I followed that. So cool, so cute. And I just love that, because this book just gives me like Gossip Girl vibes, with the fashion, with the high socialite vibes, with the rich group of friends, with the drama, with the people hooking up with each other. You know, it's giving Chuck and Blair. It's giving Serena. It's giving Gossip Girl. It's giving Dan Humphrey. It's giving innocence. It's giving all of those vibes. And I love that, because I'm a Gossip Girl stan. Love Gossip Girl so much. Love these books so much. And I just felt like they had similarities. And if you're a Gossip Girl lover, yeah. But I just love all the fashion that was talked about in the book. I thought that was so cool, and it added such like a cool dimension. And then it also like Parks having her little fixation. I don't know if you would call it like OCD, ADHD, whatever her thing is, when she like says people's outfit. I'm like, yeah, that's like a skill, like being able to look at someone's outfit from head to toe and be like, oh, it's this, oh, it's this, oh, it's this. I thought that was really cool, and I feel like that connects back to earlier what I was saying about this author doing a really good job with writing each character so distinctly. Like that's such like a Magnolia thing. Like as the book progresses, you start to know her and know the characters more and more, and you're just like, oh yeah, like that's what Magnolia does. Like you're literally waiting for her to like, you know, describe people's outfits. And I thought that was really cool, and it just gives each character, like I said, such a distinction and such like just a cool vibe to them, a cool dimension that is, you know, we're able to see in the book. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I would sometimes get confused with like the friend dynamics. Like sometimes, like I know it was like Christian, Gus, Henry, Joe, and then it ended up being Tara, and then like Perry and Paley, whatever. She irrelevant, she off the cast anyway. They were like a family. I thought that was really sweet. And I know for a second there in the first book with her and Tom, I was like, maybe she's gonna end up with Tom, but then I'm like, dude, BJ and Magnolia are narrating the story. It's gonna be BJ. Magnolia and BJ's game that they would play with one another, it was like they would hurt each other to get close to one another. And I was like, is this real life? Like the stuff that they would do over and over again, and you're just reading it and you're just like, are you serious? Like it's gonna take you guys this long to still not just communicate or just be honest about the way you feel? And they would just do the same things over and over again, to the point where I was just like, okay, y'all up. Some of the trauma and codependency that they went through was from them losing a baby, which was really sad, and it really did make a lot of sense. Like everything that was described in book 3, I like how book 3 kind of gave like a prelude to why they were the way that they were. And I think in book 3/5, you know, it's weird with the number thing, but like I think we'll see like more of Magnolia's history, because we're about to get into it. The ending of book 3, Bridget dying, literally completely caught me off guard. I literally had to reread those pages like 3 times, because I'm like, no, this is not happening. This is literally not happening. This is not real, especially when you're finally getting this happy ending between Magnolia and BJ. Just for Bridget to just die like that, I was like, this has got to be a joke. This has got to be a joke. And then I'm like, oh, well, you know this, how this writer writes. She just likes to extend things. As we can see, BJ and Magnolia took 500 years to get together. So I'm like, you know what, no. This is just, she's just building up suspense for the next book. But then I listened to a podcast that she was on, and she said, no, Bridget's dead. She was like, no, she's gone. She's gone. And I was like, okay, that's that. And it was really hard, because like literally Bridget is like all Magnolia has. Like she's like everything to her. Like, and that goes back to their trauma, and why when I was listening to the author talk about this in the podcast, it kind of just made a lot of sense to the character development of the story. When you look at Bridget dying from that lens, from like the lens of like, okay, this is for the development of the story, and the author talks about like the blood toll, which I thought was interesting. And I think this also connects to like a lot of stories, that sometimes someone needs to die or something traumatic needs to happen in order for the characters to like develop and grow. And I think for Bridget dying for Magnolia, that's gonna be like a big change for her, because she's gonna have to face like her never being able to be alone, like her codependency, her toxic family. I feel like we're gonna see some blow-ups happen with her family in the next book. And I did hear the author, from the author directly, so this is good news to all of us, that BJ and Magnolia will not break up again. Cue the heavens. They will not be breaking up again in the next book, because that's immediately what I was afraid of. I was like, oh my God, something traumatic is going to happen. They're both going to self-sabotage and push each other away. Oh my God, this is what they do. But then I'm like, the author said no. So I'm like, okay, they're going to be together. I'm sure it's going to affect the relationship a lot, like your sister dying, especially when you're supposed to be at such a happy time of your life. Like they finally just got engaged. And I think that's part of the reason why Bridget dying, why it was so hard, because it's like, dude, like they finally just got like their happy ending. But I felt it, especially with these books. One thing I've learned, as soon as you think something's great, it's not great. It's just going to take your happiness away. So when everything was finally great and peachy, for a second there, I convinced myself, I'm like, okay, this is great. Everything's gonna work out. Everything's great. Everyone's happy. And then Bridget had to die. And then the way that she died too, I was like, are you kidding me? She was like, I'm just imagining her like, girl, get up. Get up. And she's just like, no. Like, that was so awful, and it was so sad. And I like literally was traumatized after reading that. And I was just like, I need a support group. I need a Magnolia Parks support group to talk about the trauma and pain and chaos and emotional turmoil that she has bestowed upon me, because it's real. It's real. But also, since I've talked about the trauma, I mean the love. I can't deny, I can't lie. I love these books so much, just the way that they're written, the fashion, Parks and BJ, like the money. I love money, honey. The money that they have, just everything. I love these books. I love the way they're written. I love the character development. I love when the characters don't develop. I love it all. I love these books. I love also that Magnolia's black, honey. She's black. She's black. I love that. As you can tell. Hello, black. Hello, black queen. I love that. Anyways, yeah, so I love these books. I'm so excited for the next one, which we will not be getting till next year, till, what was it, like, I seen like February 2024, but I believe the cover for the next book is coming out the week that I am filming this video. So you may have already seen the cover by the time you watch this video. So that's really exciting. But ultimately, this book did give me love. It gave me hope. It gave me sadness. It gave me tears. It gave me fears. It gave me emotional turmoil. It gave me happiness. It gave me passion. And this book gave me a lot, but I loved it. So happy I read it. And yeah, if you have read this book and you loved it, let me know in the comments how you felt about it, how you felt about Bridget dying, how you felt about Julian. Are you BJ in Parks every day till you die like me? Or are you Tom? You're boring if you are, but no tea, no shade. Or are you Julian? Which I get if you're Julian. I really do. But you gotta be realistic. It was always gonna be BJ in Parks. It was always gonna be them. Sorry, not sorry. Thank you so much for watching this video. As I said, I hope you receive lots of love, joy, and good vibes from it. And of course, let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, do all the things. And I hope to see you in another video. Bye.